Hello, I'm the Media Whiz, because when art form wasn't enough. Let's talk about Madballs. Madballs was a toy line released by Amtoy back in 1985. They were these squeeze ball toys that went for gross out humor with their designs. Much like how toy companies would make girls' toys as happy, cute, and pink as possible, Madballs was one of the many toys aimed for young boys that relied on puke, snot, and everything gross. Similar to things like Garbage Pail Kids or Oozers. It was simple, but effective. Hell, they've managed to last up until now, based solely on charm alone. Aside from the toys themselves, they also received video games for early home computers, multiple comics released by Star Comics, even resulting in a crossover with the Care Bears of all things, a web series on YouTube on their official YouTube channel, and of course made at the initial height of the Madballs toys, straight-to-video cartoons in the 80s, 2 of them to be exact. The first one being Madballs Escape from Orb in 1986, and this was the follow-up, Madballs Gross Jokes, released just a year later, put out by the same studio that made the toys and everything, much like other cartoons made to sell stuff. The second of these Madballs cartoons doesn't seem to have a very good reputation as far as I can tell. But let's see for ourselves. This is Madballs Gross Jokes. Let's begin with an opening disclaimer.
The following program contains scenes which may offend some viewers. Others may experience mild discomfort, nagging backache, postnasal drip, and delirium, followed by rapid heartbeat, swelling of the nose, throat, and abdomen, and loss of facial hair. Repeated viewing of this tape may result in the loss of one's bodily functions, redistribution of facial features, premature baldness, and a difficulty in forming simple sentences. So, if you're seriously considering a rewarding, challenging career as a lawn ornament, this is the show for you.
Okay, so they're trying to do a whole Movie 43 inappropriate comedy thing where they're trying to bill it as the most disgusting, outrageous thing ever put to animation.
Grosser than a mouthful of Brussels sprouts. More tasteless than a cube of tofu. More revolting than Mom's latest casserole.
Well, alright, you piqued my interest. As long as it's better than those 2 movies, I think we'll be in good hands. This is still going to suck, isn't it? We then get a listing of our main characters based on all the original Madballs lineup. Screamy Mimi, Freakella, Skullhead, Dusty, Mr. Hornhead, Arg, Slobulus, Oculus Orbis, who barely does anything in this cartoon, and Bashbrain.
I've never seen anything so awful in my entire life!
Wow, I haven't seen a character hate the thing that they were featured in since...
It's not fair! I was almost out!
Yeah, that guy. So now we begin one of the many sketches. Because yes, this is a variety show of sorts. First up, we have Madballs in the hospital. Hey, let's just be grateful it's them and not obnoxious TikTok brats. So come on, Madballs, make us laugh. What do you got?
Doctor, the invisible man is waiting for you in the waiting room.
That's a good place to wait. Tell him I can't see him now.
Hope you're ready for more jokes like that, because it's going to take up the rest of the 20-minute runtime. Another thing to look forward to is skits ending abruptly. They end skits in this thing so damn fast, it feels like they're embarrassed they even started.
That's all I can stand of this stupid sketch!
I agree with her. She is now my new favorite character in this whole animation so far.
I want to see something with some redeeming social value. Something with some beauty and grace. Something like...
Poetry Corner.
I summarized the following sketch for you. It's a calm, relaxing, pleasant poem set to grotesque, disgusting, erratic imagery.
O beauteous morning, full of grace, to thee I sing this song of praise. The morning dew upon the leaves, the gentle sway of the trees.
Never have I seen such an insult to poetry since...
A free love noise, funny, funny.
Yeah, that. Whatever you want to call that.
You know, I have just one thing to say about that poem.
I agree with that. Took the words right out of my mouth. Next sketch takes place in a restaurant, and if it wasn't apparent from the first few sketches, it's here where I gotta address the main issue with this cartoon.
Boy, there isn't much to eat on this menu.
Oh, that's too bad. I found a bunch of spaghetti and a squash bug on mine.
It feels odd that the beginning hails this as one of the most vile, loathsome, despicable things ever put to animation, yet the jokes are relatively mundane, like something out of a joke book for the youngest of children. And I get that this was mostly made for kids, but part of me was expecting more gross-out humor in this thing. Sure, they make occasional mentions to gross stuff all throughout, but most of the time, their attempts at comedy rely on awkward wordplay or awful puns. We're not even halfway through the damn thing yet. Next up, we get a segment that mostly consists of showing us the life and time of Bash Brain and how much his life sucks. This skit falls more in line with the poem segment in that it's more about the visuals on screen. I would like to take time out of this segment to address another key problem with this cartoon: the weirdly inconsistent animation. The animation flip-flops between typical 2D animation and these Terry Gilliam-style sequences, both of which are pretty janky to look at. The 2D animation just comes off as stiff most of the time, with a lot of the effort being put into lip movements, or occasional blinking, head turning, or arm movements. And then you get to segments like this, and they just feel like they're trying way too hard to replicate Monty Python style, while lacking any kind of wit or creativity like they had. Even when that show did fourth wall gags or abrupt endings to skits, it was excusable because of Python's unique and charming sense of humor.
Hey, I know. Let's go see how Skullface is doing at his new job in the cemetery.
Hey, that sounds like a barrel of laughs. But how do we get to the cemetery?
Easy. We'll just jump in front of the truck.
Oh yeah, forgot about this one. We also get these reoccurring sketches that often serve as segues, usually between these two trying to make lame stand-up comedy together. They do it 5 times, and I'll spare you by only showing one of them that leads into an actual skit. It's basically a bunch of lame attempts at spooky wordplay, and once again, the skit is incredibly short. Seriously, it's less than 30 seconds long. What was the point of this? You set a sketch in a cemetery and you bail on it that quickly? You could have had tons to work with if you put your heart into it. Anyway, next up is a segment hosted by Dusty Dustbrain as she shows a self-proclaimed boring travelogue, which serves as another excuse for the animators to be lazy and rely heavily on still images instead of animating.
Oh, here's a shot of our plane. Here we are arriving in Europe.
Did you guys pull a Madame Foster and steal another group's plane tickets to Europe too? I mean, considering they keep trying to build these characters as bad people who do vile and corrupt things, it wouldn't surprise me if they did that. Anyway, there's not really much that happens here. They just list a bunch of places they visited, like New York, Italy, Egypt, France, Venice, and Russia. Really nothing comes of this other than just a bunch of lame visual gags.
Hey! Come here! I want to talk to you! Now look, I've had about 3 lines since this lousy show began.
Consider yourself lucky.
Presenting, by special request, Mr. Hornhead's big musical number.
Wait a minute. I didn't say nothing about no musical number. Boils and warts and piggy's feet, these are the things that I loves to eat. Slugs and snails and millipedes, and don't forget the tainted meat. Oh!
Yeah, instead of listening to this song in full, I'm going to be using a song from Repo the Genetic Opera. It's not even the best song in that entire musical, and yet it's still better than listening to this song in its entirety.
Lungs and livers and bladders and hearts. You always save a bundle when you buy our tinkle parts. Spleens and intestines and spines and brains. All at warehouse prices, but our quality's the same.
After that, there's a sketch about Slobulus owning a facial reconstruction clinic, and the joke is everyone who gets the surgery gets a face that looks like his. Oh, Photoshop couldn't come soon enough. Alright, I'm just going to breeze through these last few segments. There's really not a whole lot to talk about at this point. There's a school sketch about students not doing their homework, a game show skit about guessing what a terrible smell is. Congrats, you made a game show worse than Pop Quiz Hotshot. Hope you're proud. And lastly, we end on the gang wondering what their finale should be, as they're soon dumped into the back of a trash truck and taken to a waste dump.
We need something that will really sum things up. Something that says it all.
Something that will really show the audience who we are and what we stand for.
Sunday driver!
I don't know about you, but I find it quite appropriate that this thing ends exactly where it belongs, in the trash. God, this was so stupid. The animation is choppy and inconsistent. The voice acting is mediocre at best, though you can tell the actors are at least somewhat trying. The segues often go on longer than the actual sketches, and the biggest problem is the comedy is just lame. For something marketed as gross jokes, most of the humor in this is so bland and flat, it makes 101 wacky kids jokes look cutting edge.
Our dog is lost. Oh no, you'd better put an ad in the paper. What for? He can't read.
Thank you. That'll be all. I'm so sorry. feel...
I am glad they didn't try their hand at gross-out humor, because I can only imagine how awful they'd be at that. Like I said, time and time again, sketch comedy can be done right. Hell, even scattershot sketches could work. Going back to Python, they've had plenty of skits that weren't too terribly long and often ended abruptly, but they at least made it work in their own unique brand of comedy that helped them stand out. There's really nothing unique about the skit writing or joke writing here. Out of curiosity, I checked out the other Madballs cartoons, and they're genuinely better. They actually have plots, better animation, and better voice acting. I'm actually kind of shocked that you could go from this to this. It goes to show there's a wide variety of terrible animation made to bank off of products made for kids, whether it's the overly girly My Little Pony G3 or this terribly grotesque and vile Madballs cartoon.
It's funny you mention MLPG3 because guess what, bucko? We're gonna be reviewing it together for another crossover video!
No, we're not gonna do that.
Oh, please, 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 can we please?
Fine, but we're gonna do it for your show, alright? I got plenty enough to talk about for my videos as it is.
Hooray!
After a performance like that, you'll be lucky to get a part in a hemorrhoid commercial.